My Beast is in for its 24,000 mile service, so I'm testing out. I got to borrow an R1250GS 2019 HP, which I think is equivalent to the Rally. So I'll just slide around the bike. I'm not going to get a lot of miles on it, but I do have some first impressions. I know there's a lot of videos out there that talk about first impressions. But there's a few things that I think about this bike that might be different from what other people are thinking and what they tell you about it. So we'll go through that and look at what this bike is about. So I've already done some riding, I've already taken some video, and I'll add that in. One of the things I'm not too excited about is the machined mirror mounts. Here, the machined aluminum. My concern is that that's going to be overly strong, and if this mirror goes down and it doesn't fold out of the way, you could potentially break a clutch or a brake perch. So, I don't know. And then replacing this would be super expensive. I'm not sure why BMW went with this particular design, but that's what they did. I mean, it looks nice, and for just going to the coffee shop, it'd be great. Off-road, I'm not so keen on. We'll go back down here. Gear shift, it's machined aluminum, and it has an adjustment back and forth. I like that, and polishes your boot up a little. And then I wouldn't be worried like I am now with losing the rubber piece on there that just spins around. I think eventually on my bike it'll come off. Foot pegs, I like the nice wide foot peg that they put on here, and then it squishes down when you stand up to give you some more traction. It doesn't feel as grippy as the other pegs that came on my bike, but it's still good. I like it. Crash bars. So it comes with BMW factory crash bars. I like these crash bars. They mount similarly to mine, except the crash bars I have, the aftermarket ones, have a big bar that goes from here over to the frame. So they're a little clunkier than what comes on these. The valve cover is this aluminum, machined aluminum with these, I don't know, it just looks nice. Added feature for off-road, I don't know. I don't necessarily need all the bling that comes with it. What else can I say that's different from everybody else? The bike feels more compact. I don't know why. Standing up without bar risers is more comfortable. The seat feels shorter. The back end of the seat is shorter than, at least it feels shorter than what my 1200 feels like. Yeah. So I'll do a little bit more riding and talk about it. We'll go from there. Alright, I'm at 3,000 RPM, fourth gear, 42 miles per hour, and I'm just going to roll on the throttle. And that, it takes off. Maybe not like a big sports bike, but compared to the Beast, there's definitely a difference in the way that it has that low-end grunt. I'm guessing that the cams are shifting over to the more torque-oriented position, and man, the throttle response is definitely better than it is on the Beast, on the 1200, the R1250GS. And that's I'm in road mode. In dynamic, it's even more noticeable. I will say this bike gets up and goes. Not that the 1200 doesn't do that, but it feels different. It's the best way to describe how this bike feels is if you've ever driven a car that has a turbocharger, it feels a lot like that. As you roll on the throttle, it's maybe just a slight amount of lag, and then all of a sudden the RPMs and the engine just jumps. So it's very, very similar feeling to being turbocharged. I like it. I like that a lot. Standing position feels different on this bike. I would want to roll the handlebars up, but I don't know if I would need risers. I don't feel like I'm as bent over as I was on the 1200 before I did anything with that. It's actually not too bad. I like it. I'm a little hunched over. I'd like it to bring up a little bit more, but short riser, just rolling the bars up would probably do it.
Alright, I wanted to wrap up this video real quick on my thoughts. I wanted to do this video outside, but it was too windy today and this camera picks up a lot of wind noise. So I'm in the garage. Sorry, the lighting is not great. The sound's probably not great either, but it's definitely better than the wind. My first impressions of the BMW R1250GS. It was a great bike. I enjoyed riding it. I maybe got 50 miles on it. It wasn't a lot. The most notable thing that I got out of it was the engine and how the engine felt. It was fantastic. In my opinion, it felt like it was turbocharged. The way the camshaft moves and gets that low end torque when you roll on the throttle at low RPMs, the bike just really accelerated and took off compared to my 1200 that I have now. I really enjoyed that. Now, with that being said, I didn't get a lot of miles on it. After you ride a bike for a long time, you start finding some things maybe you don't like as much. And you also find things that you really like. So again, just first impressions. I like the bike. Now, would I upgrade from the Beast, the R1200GS to the R1250GS? No, I wouldn't do that. I enjoy the bike I have now. These bikes aren't cheap. I'm not just gonna go trade something in that's really similar to what that is. Now, if I was upgrading from an 800 or some other brands of bikes and wanted to get into the BMW line, I would skip all the others and go directly to the 1250GS. I really enjoyed that bike. I liked everything it had about it, except for one of the initial things that I noticed was the mirrors, the mounts for the mirrors. Yeah, it's fancy machined aluminum, but it's gonna be expensive to replace, and I'm afraid it'll be a little too strong. If you go down, you could break clutch or break perch like I had mentioned before. It would take time to figure out all the little intricacies of the bike, what I like, what I don't like. So initially, I think it's a fantastic bike. I think BMW really did something special with the way they changed the engine and the dynamic and the characteristic of that engine. But yeah, definitely not for me to upgrade, maybe years down the road. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you out there. So saying so anymore, then everyone's gonna tune out. So let me try again.